thank you for coming over. We just thought that we would have a chat and look at some of the things we are proposing or that we've heard from our people that is necessary given the socio-economic condition of the country presently. What I've done is I have sent to you, I'm sorry we didn't print it out, our policy direction, a précis of it, and I also shared that of my presidential candidate, His Excellency Peter Obi, because naturally you would hope that we wouldn't be going in divergent directions. It would be similar directions. When you go through it and in detail later, you would see that it is probably a localized version of what the national version would be, because whatever it is, my constituency or my senatorial district should come first for me. Yes, Nigeria comes first. I would be representing, by God's grace, the people of the district. So that should come first. So the policy thrust, you would see, is we've tried to localize it in our thinking, that if the country is going this way, what we need the most from these 5 local governments, and I'm sure we all know the 5 local governments, which is Apapa, Etiosa, Lagos Island, Lagos Mainland, and Surulere. That is the district I'm hoping to represent, and we are hoping that the program that we propose will be, the blueprint that we have will be good and sufficient to move the senatorial district forward along with the country. I have always believed that public office should be about solving real problems, not simply occupying a position. For Lagos Central, that means staying close to the everyday realities of the people. The trader trying to keep a business alive, the family dealing with poor drainage or inadequate health care, and the community that wants to know that its elected representative is accessible and paying attention. My approach is therefore straightforward. I want to concentrate on the things that can improve people's capacity to live, work, and build with dignity, while being honest about the limits of a senator's office. I will not promise to personally execute projects that belong to the executive arm of government. My responsibility is to legislate, represent, provide oversight, participate in appropriation, raise constituency concerns, and push institutions to deliver. The agenda that follows is built around 5 ideas that I want people to associate with my representation: people, productivity, infrastructure, security, and governance itself. People, productivity, infrastructure, security, and governance. The starting point is simple. Government should help people become more capable, more secure, more productive. That means putting human welfare first, creating a condition or creating conditions for businesses and workers to thrive by fixing basic infrastructure that supports daily life, improving community safety, and making government easier for citizens to reach. For Lagos Central, the national policy themes becomes very practical. Education and human capital become better schools, skills and scholarships. Production becomes stronger SMEs, affordable finance, fisheries, aquaculture, maritime logistics, and the creative and digital economy. Infrastructure becomes drainage, roads, water, and transport. Security becomes community safety and responsible coordination with security agencies. Accountability, that's governance accountability, becomes regular engagement, public reporting, and measurable legislative work. The 5 priorities. People, as I said, that's human capital, welfare, and dignity. Aim to improve access to quality education and practical skills, to support rehabilitation and better equipment for public schools, including science and ICT, information communication technology facilities, strengthen primary health care, preventive care, and maternal health access, support scholarships and pathways for young people. Number 2, when we talk about productivity, from consumption to production, access to finance, skills, and markets, promote skills that match real demand in the labor market, develop Lagos Central's blue economy potential through fisheries, aquaculture, coastal commerce, and maritime logistics. Create stronger links between local business procurement opportunities, and larger markets. Push for an investment environment where productive businesses can survive, grow, and employ people, and treat digital and creative skills, fix what people depend on every day. We prioritize drainage and flood reduction in communities that are repeatedly affected. Push for the attention to community roads and rehabilitation. Improve access to water and practical transport links. Support better urban environment management, and use oversight functions and public reporting to track projects by location, status, cost, and the agency responsible, you understand, for those projects from government. Keep the distinction clear between these the projects and advocating for them. Support community level prevention and better coordination with formal security agencies. Encourage responsible use of, say, CCTV and other monitoring systems where legally appropriate. Promote emergency readiness and stronger communication between communities and the security institutions. Then address some of the underlying conditions that contribute to insecurity, unemployment, the drug problem that we have, lack of opportunities, things that would contribute to insecurity. Protect civil liberties, due process, and the rights of citizens while supporting lawful, intelligence-led security. And number 5, governance. Representation. People can actually reach. hold regular constituency accountability sessions. I am thinking at the present moment, I don't want to be making promises, that it would look all right, it would feel all right if we commit to quarterly, minimum quarterly town halls within the in the whatever. There are times that you have to do more. For instance, I'm posing a question here to the press. I wonder how many people, how many legislators, whether senator or National Assembly, how many of them actually rush back to their constituents or their senatorial districts to discuss state police, for instance, the speed with which it went. There must be back and forth. You are representing people, not just your party. I know there's party supremacy of the party, but you're representing people. You should go back to them and say, look, there's a policy thrust that might affect even the Constitution. The people should have a say. I doubt if many of them went back. That's just an example. Use legislative oversight to ask questions, obtain information, and follow public projects. Keep public spending and procurement as transparent and traceable as possible. Measure representation by what is followed through and not by how many announcements or what is our propaganda that we do. And then, of course, I don't want to read all this. You all know basic, right? And I know what I'm limited to do as a senator. I'm not an executive arm of government. I'm not governor. So my goal is not to make promises that sound impressive during an election period. I want to build a record of representation that people can understand and evaluate. If a constituent raises an issue, there should be a way to follow it. If a project is proposed, there should be a way to track it. If legislation is important to Lagos Central, people should know why I, as their representative, supported it at the national level. And where something is outside the direct power of the Senate, I should be honest about that while still doing everything within my role to move the issue forward. That, to me, is what responsible representation should look like. Being present, being useful, being accountable, and leaving people with something more than a campaign promise. Thank you very much.
This is my first question. I want to know your relationship with the grassroots. We all know that politics is about grassroots. So I want to know your relationship, your impact with the grassroots.
Well, I've been involved at the grassroots level for a long time. Way back in 2003, I was a candidate of the PDP for House of Representatives, Surulere Constituency 1. Apart from that, I've been involved in various projects with the grassroots. As a legal practitioner, you get to meet with people, you get to deal with them. We do a lot of pro bono matters for people. For the past few years now, not just election time, I've been having a medical outreach with some of the grassroots, those who can not afford healthcare, proper healthcare. Also with the youth as well. I have a football tournament. It's a statewide tournament for under 16s, boys and girls. So these are some of the things that I've been doing with the grassroots. And it is from the grassroots that we realize that there is not sufficient or adequate representation. The people of Nigeria at the moment, economically, I don't want to use the word suffering, but they are. And we all need to, all hands must be on deck to try to bring about something positive.
Present administration has been trying to I've been trying to work on this issue of flood and they've not get it right until now. So as somebody coming into office, how do you tend to tackle this kind of a problem?
Well, the first thing is to go and look properly at what the issues are. When Ilubirin was being built on the way to the Third Mainland Bridge and everything, did they do a proper environmental impact survey? Do they look at it? When you go to Adeniji, Adele, you drive Adeniji from Ebute Elephant coming up towards the Third Mainland, Idumago. Look on your right hand side. You see that there's some places that there are drainage paths that are filled. People are rearing cattle in some parts there. So where will the water, how will the water drain out? You understand? Some of these places have been blocked. I'm not an engineer, don't get me wrong. So that's why I say you have to go and find out properly. But I'm just saying, from a layman's point of view, these things are there. When you look at the island itself, and you look at the marina, the lagoon, you see that if you drive through Elegbata towards outer marina, you will see, even with the naked eye, that the water level is rising, and you keep wondering what is happening. And of course, not to seem to be tackling anyone, we've had a major engineering work, gigantum engineering work with Eco-Atlantic. So you have to look at everything in a holistic fashion. You are not an engineer, and I don't think I am, but we have to question properly and say what is happening and how can we begin to sort out the situation. It's important because in some 20, 30 years time, we might find ourselves completely below. And ditto, you spoke about Seat-Ladipo, ditto for Lekki. We see all that in Lekki. And of course, Apapa too is within our senatorial district. So it's not just Lagos Island. It's not just Lagos Island. Apapa, parts of Surulere, go there, you see the houses are sinking. Even in Ikate here, Lawrence, there are some houses that are sinking. Many different parts. And of course, the basic legal thing as well. We're talking about the big engineering things that might have affected. That is that our people need to be cleaner. So that when you go to the island at night and you see the filth from the markets, from Namdi Azikwe and whatever, you're wondering, hey, how did these things come? Or whenever you see them cleaning the drains, so plastic bottles, plastic this, plastic. So the people themselves, we need to reorientate, do some reorientation for our people, and then hopefully we'll begin in different ways. Of course, it is almost squarely in the province or in the purview of the governor and maybe Minister for Environment, Minister for Works, federal and whatever, but we will use our soft power as a member of the legislature to make sure that these things are going. Yes. Youth unrest.
Yes, I want to talk on that. So how do you tackle that and youth employment also?
Well, unfortunately, I believe that poverty has been weaponized. And I say it, with all sense of responsibility. You wake up and at about 9 o'clock, drive through the island or drive through Mushin, is not in our senatorial district, or other places, you will see able-bodied young men, see them hanging around, or with this sachet alcoholic drinks. First thing in the morning, see them. And then the politicians, instead of giving them work, instead of creating the environment for work, you see they have bases. And those bases, they they'll give them TV to watch Premiership or what. Those are the donations they make to them. They are not trying to move them into some sort of productive work. And of course, what I didn't mention is you also have a drug problem with them there, not just the island. I think, in fact, in Shita, and then that is my own constituency, and look at the Lekki axis as well. It's a huge problem.
You mentioned that you're going to digitalize governance. How do you want to go about that?
You see, the digital world, IC, information communication technology, is going to be a big thrust for me because of my senatorial district. I have the youth of Etiosa, Surulere, mainland. You understand? Yaba as well, when I say mainland. You can both come in, go for programming sessions, you go for hardware, you do this and that. Make opportunities available. Because I always link it to the African Continental Free Trade Agreement that we've signed up to. And I say to us, are we even preparing our people for that, for the implementation of that agreement? Because Lagos, Nigeria rather, but now for me, Lagos Central, should be the hub of ICT for young ones. And they can be working here and earning in the US, earning anywhere. What did India do? If you go to England, most countries, for instance, phone centers. The phone center you are calling, you want to ask something, is probably in India. You have someone with an Indian, accent, replying about a problem in the UK. So it is the fact that even work can be exported, skills can be exported. You can live in a country and be working elsewhere now.
For the incumbent?
Well, I believe that the incumbent might be a lovely person. He might be a good person. I don't know him personally. But what I know is that he is not represented. What I have heard from my constituents is that he is not represented. Lagos Central, as I said in my beginning of my campaign, is the economic hub of Nigeria. We have our ports, we have the banks, we have everything. And it is the center of excellence, or it is meant to be. Lagos must have a voice in the Senate. If we had conducted a poll, I tell you, even a lot of the press do not know the name of our senator from Lagos Central. If you go even to the Lafiaji end of the island, he's from the island. They will tell you, they'll say, Senator Isalekunie. Not to talk of Surulere, forget APC members, not to talk of Surulere or mainland or Etiosa or Apapa. A lot of them will tell you. And that's what I do normally when I campaign. The first thing I say, who is our senator? It was Remi Tinubu's seat. That's not the question. Who is the current one? And that's the problem. So for me, the people through this campaign will get to know me. We will hold town halls. And I pray that we have debates with him. So he should tell us why he hasn't represented. I know that he worked on one major legislation, which hasn't even been completed. But apart from that, minimal interventions in the Senate, minimal, not to talk about bills or what have you. So that is it. I'm not disparaging his person. I'm just saying that by and large, I believe that majority of people in our senatorial district do not feel that they're being properly represented. And the taste of the pudding is in the eating. We will know when the election results come out.